Today we're going to show you how to change the seal and chopper kit on your dishwasher. It's a really easy job. All you're going to need is a number 15 and a number 20 Torx bit and driver, a 5/16 nut driver, a pair of slip joint pliers, and a flat blade screwdriver. Let me show you how we do it. Now to do this repair, we'll begin by opening the dishwasher door, and we'll remove the lower rack and any dishes that may be in it, and we'll set that aside. Next, with our pliers, we'll remove the retaining nut for the lower spray arm. Loosen that center nut. Turn it out by hand. We'll set that aside. Next, with our number 20 Torx bit, we'll remove these screws from the filter cover. There are 3 of them around the perimeter. Next, we'll remove the screws from the discharge cover on the pump. There should be 6 of those. Now we can lift up on that discharge cover and just grasp it by the shaft. We have to disengage it from this manifold at the back, but we want to be careful that we don't put too much pressure on that manifold. There are a couple of clips on the back wall of the tub that we can access and release that manifold. You need to be cautious when working with those, because if you break that clip, it will be very difficult to remount it. So lift up on it, pull it forward, and disengage it. Set that discharge cover aside. Now I have 2 more screws that secure the filter plate to the motor. Remove those. And then with the number 15 Torx bit, we'll remove the screw that holds the impeller in place. You'll need to hold on to that impeller at the same time, keep it from turning. And just pull the impeller off the shaft. Now to disengage that filter plate from the manifold, it's connected with that 1 tube there. We need to lift gently up on it, pull it forward while holding the manifold back. And we can set the cover and the filter plate aside. Now remove the old chopper blade and discard it. Seal cover, slide off of that shaft. And we can pop the old seal out of the housing. Just a friction fit, so pull it completely out. Now the instructions indicate that you should remove this chopper sleeve from the motor. And to do that, it is threaded to the motor shaft, so we have to keep the motor from turning. There is a little access hole on the bottom of the motor that you can slide a small blade screwdriver in there to hold the motor from turning while you loosen that 5/16 chopper sleeve. To do that, we need to remove the motor. So then it just pulls straight up out of the tub, but you need to take note of the orientation of that motor to the tub so that the filter plate will line up with the manifold again. If that shaft is in good shape, you may opt to just leave it as it is and install your seal and new chopper blade. But to remove the motor, just grasp that shaft and that will lift straight up out of the opening. The gasket may come with it or it may not. We'll disconnect the wire harness to the motor. Just 2 locking tabs on the side. And then we can put the motor on a suitable work surface, or we can insert a screwdriver in that hole in the bottom and remove that sleeve. Now with our motor assembly on a suitable work surface, we can now remove that sleeve on the end of the motor shaft. As I mentioned, there is a hole just off to the center at the bottom of the motor that we can insert just a small screwdriver into that opening, and that'll prevent the armature of the motor from turning. Now with our 5/16 nut driver, we can unthread that sleeve. And if it's a little tight, you could use a ratchet and a 5/16 socket. Now the kit comes with 2 sleeves, so we need to determine whether it's a fine thread or a coarse thread. Put the appropriate one back on. Tighten it up, remove the screwdriver from the bottom, and we're ready to put the motor assembly back into the dishwasher. Now with the motor sleeve changed, we're ready to reinstall the motor. So begin by reconnecting the harness. Make sure it locks into place. And we'll lower the motor down into the opening, making sure that we line up the motor the proper orientation. Next we'll install the new seal. We can just wet the edge of that seal enough that it'll slide in easier. Make sure it goes in straight. And just press it down slightly. Next we'll install the seal face. Stainless steel side facing down. Press that down until the seal seats firmly. Next we'll install the new chopper blade. And then we're ready to put the filter plate back into position. We'll set the cover on top of it first and line that up. Carefully slide it in underneath the manifold. Again, we'll have to pick that manifold up and pull it slightly forward so that the bottom of the filter plate clears the top of the pump. Now with the filter plate and cover in place, we'll next take the alignment tool that came with the kit. We're going to slide that over that shaft and into the opening on the top of the chopper. That will align that cover with the shaft. So with that in place, we'll reinstall the 2 screws on the inside. Make sure that alignment tool is held down in place and is centered in the hole. Next, we'll reinstall the wash impeller. Slide that over the shaft. And with our number 15 Torx bit, we'll install the single screw at the center. And again, we will have to hold that impeller in place while we tighten that screw. Now we can reinstall the discharge cover. We need to make sure that tab slides in underneath the rectangular opening in the manifold. And we will need to lift that up slightly. And make sure it seats firmly on the top of that filter plate. And we can reinstall the 6 number 20 Torx screws. Now all that remains is the final 3 screws for the cover. Using the 3 longer number 20 Torx screws. Reinstall the lower spray arm. Snug that up with a pair of pliers. We're ready to put the lower dish rack in place. And our repair is complete.